Project Sekai is one of the most exciting rhythm games to follow as a Vocaloid fan, and that's because on top of its great gameplay that outshines even the likes of Bang Dream, it has an incredible lineup of Vocaloid songs that would just not be possible in other games like Project Diva. Any voice bank or producer is fair game, and the sheer amount of possibility when it comes to its track list is nearly endless. Having the door open to voice banks like Gumi, Ia, and Flower, or literally anyone else, too, gives Sekai a wild west of a tracklist where anything goes and hype reigns supreme. It's because of these possibilities that speculating for future songs can be so much fun. You can just let your imagination run wild and imagine any number of your favorite songs making the cut. So today I'm going to explore the depths of my imagination and talk about 10-ish songs in no particular order that I think Project Sekai needs, in my humble opinion, of course. If you have any dream picks of your own, be sure to let me know in the comments. I'd love to do more videos like this between big projects if there's an audience for it. So leave a like, subscribe, or do whatever you feel like. Shilling aside, let's jump right into the list. So I needed to limit myself to just one song per artist on this list, and that's because if I didn't, it would just be nothing but Harumaki Gohan, Jin, and Deco 27. So let's kick this list off right with the first of the three. I had a lot of trouble deciding between two different songs for Deco's slot here, and that's because as much as my heart wanted to go with Undead Alice because I love that song to death and back, I ultimately went with another recent song of his with a bit of an undead theme. The Vampire. I ultimately chose this over Undead Alice because it's a lot more popular, and I think the developers could make an extremely fun chart for the song. And given its fast pace and kind of bouncy sound, if it were to ever make it in, it would easily become one of the most fun tracks to play in the entire game. Let's transition from vampires to corpses with my second pick, Shikabanaze by John Yakitori. I've spoken a little bit about this song already in my video about the singer Otto, but obviously the version of the song that would make it into the game would be the original rendition featuring Flower. John Yakitori is a super interesting producer who doesn't have any representation in Sekai at the moment, and I think this banger totally deserves a spot in the game at some point. Speaking of songs that featured Otto but also had original versions using Flower, wow, that's a very specific transition. The next song is Love Ka by Hiragi Kirai. This is a song that would really stand out compared to the rest of the current tracks in Project Sekai, as it has an incredibly unique sound, and would serve to represent the weirder, more experimental side of Vocaloid well, without quite going into the deep end. It would be a great companion piece to Boca della Verita as well, as it represents a lot more of Hiragi Kirai's distinct style. Another producer with an extremely distinct style who needs to get at least one song in Project Sekai would have to be Gyari. Gyari's unique jazz style seems like a perfect match for a rhythm game, and I'm not the only one who's thought this, because the song I decided to go with I actually found for the first time in a Groove Coaster video. The song is Akane Has Arrived, which is a translation of the Japanese name, but I know for a fact I would butcher that. The song is really goofy, ridiculously catchy, and I think would be a total blast to play in Sekai. Plus, it's always awesome to see new voice banks get represented in the game, and I think Kizuna Akari would be right at home here. Next up is the second pick from my big three. I really struggled picking a song for Harumaki Gohan since I love his songs so much and I really couldn't settle on just one. I mean, I literally got half of my name from Multiland Nightmare of all places. I considered Last Light my favorite song of his off of Blue Ending Nova, but I thought it was a tad too obscure from his library, even if I thought it would have a fun chart. I also floated the idea of choosing Seventina since I adore that song, but I figured there was a candidate off of Neo Dream Traveler with a little bit more rhythm game potential. So as much as it pains me not to go with Seventina, my choice for the slot was Aster. I think just from the chorus alone, it's pretty obvious why this song would be a total blast in a rhythm game. Speaking of blasts, how about a blast from the past? The oldest song I picked for this list is Laboratory by Giga, though it's admittedly only from 2014. The combination of Rin and Gumi is incredible here, and I think it's crazy that you don't see the pairing more often. The song is a high-energy good time, and it's always good to get a little bit more Giga in any track list. I wanted this even more after Hibikase got added, but maybe there's a chance someday, right? The song on this list with the best odds of getting added at some point would have to be this next one, Goodbye Sengen by Chinoso. It's literally the second most viewed Vocaloid song on YouTube at the time of writing this. It has so much infectious energy, and its sheer addictiveness would make it a perfect fit for a game like Project Sakai. I'd be genuinely surprised if this song didn't get added sooner or later. Man, writing this transition would be so easy, but there's no way that the most viewed Vocaloid song on YouTube isn't in the game already. What do you mean it's not? That's right, our next song is the legendary Sand Planet by Hachi. I think it's honestly unbelievable, and probably a crime that Hachi's music isn't in Project Sakai yet, so picking out just one is quite the tough task, but as much as I would have loved to include Mato Yoshika or Panda Hero, I think it's hard to argue with Sand Planet's popularity. Second to last is one that I honestly forget is technically a Vocaloid song, Bakusho by Pseudo. I'm honestly addicted to this song, and though it pains me that Pseudo's incredible self-cover can't be added, I'm sure that the cover that they make for the game would still be fun. Also, this is probably the closest we'll ever end up getting to Usewa in Project Sakai, so we take those. Seriously though, if I could sell my soul to get Usewa in the game, I wouldn't fucking hesitate. Alright, so we've reached the end of the list, and it's time for the least surprising pick of them all. I'd like to say that I struggled picking out a Jin song since he's the last of the big three after all, but I'd be lying. I think Kagero Days, or especially Headphone Actor, would be a ton of fun to play, but it wouldn't be a multi-solid video if I didn't pick Additional Memory. Additional Memory is literally my favorite song of all time, and is a dream pick for Project Sakai for me. I'm by no means expecting it, but I can vividly imagine a version of the song for the game, and picture it having an incredible chart. If it actually happened by some miracle, I'd be so happy that I honestly wouldn't be able to stop crying. So that about wraps up my list of songs that I would like to see in Project Sakai. I had a great time coming up with ideas for songs that could be in the game, so I hope you were able to enjoy this as well, and maybe it got you thinking about some of your favorites that you would like to see too. Project Sakai is a ridiculously fun game, so no matter what they add, I'll be happy with it. As long as it comes from this list. Be sure to do all the YouTube stuff if you enjoyed this for some reason, and I'll get back to doing some more essay-style videos for you to all look forward to now. Happy tapping, and thanks for watching.